Hey everyone, Ryan here at eTrailer. Today on our 2024 Hyundai Tucson, we're going to be showing you how to install the Curt Trailer Hitch Receiver. Before we do that though, let's just take a moment, check this out, and make sure it's going to be the right hitch for you. So when it comes to the Tucson, people use these SUVs to do a lot of different things. And if you're looking for a way to pull your trailer around, use your accessories, or do a little bit of both, this can be a good solution for you. Compared to some of the other hitches available, they're all going to be extremely similar to each other in terms of their capabilities and even in their appearance. For the most part, all of them are going to be completely hidden. Really, you're just going to be able to see the receiver tube opening, and probably the biggest difference between them all is just the finish. So the Curt has a full gloss powder coat finish, the Draw Tight has a semi-gloss, and the eTrailer, that's probably my favorite, that has more of a matte black carbide finish. And I like that one the best because I think it matches the plastic on her bumper and looks a little bit more factory, at least in my opinion. The hitch is going to have a 2" by 2" opening, which is a good thing. That's a super common size, and so a lot of stuff will work with it. It's going to use the standard 5/8 pin and clip. One doesn't come included with the hitch. If you need one, not a huge deal. Always grab it here at eTrailer. And a lot of times too, if you end up picking up a new accessory, they'll come with one. Something to look out for there. The safety chain openings are loop style, pretty easy to get to, and will give us more than enough room to use just about any size hook that our trailer might have on it. As far as the weight capacities go, the hitch is going to have some pretty good numbers. Maximum gross tongue weight rating is going to be 525 pounds. That's going to be the amount of weight pushing down on the hitch. That's good for pretty much any size bike rack or cargo carrier, just to give you an example. And as far as the maximum gross trailer weight rating goes, that's going to be 3,500 pounds, or the amount of weight that is pulling on the hitch. So that is the weight of your trailer plus anything that you might have enter on it. I do always like to recommend, never a bad idea, just to grab your SUV's owner's manual. That way you can check in there and make sure that your Tucson can handle that much weight safely. We'll grab a couple measurements now, and these will help you figure out what type of accessories are going to work best. If you go from the ground to the top inside edge of the receiver tube opening, that's going to be about 15.5 inches, so pretty good ground clearance. And if you plan on pulling a trailer, chances are pretty good you can get a ball mount that has a straight shank, maybe even one with a very slight rise, an inch or something like that, probably work best in most scenarios. If you go from the center of the hitch pin hole to the edge of the rear bumper, that's going to be about 5 inches, and you can use that to help figure out exactly if any of those folding style accessories you might have can be stored in that upright position without hitting the back of your Hyundai. Some people wonder if the hitch will work with hybrid models, and the answer is yes. Perfect example today, we have a hybrid and everything went together just fine. It also worked with the standard gasoline engines as well, so should be in pretty good shape. Other than that though, at the end of the day, good all-around hitch. It looks good and will handle just about anything you want to throw at it. As far as the installation goes, pretty straightforward. Remove a couple small plastic panels underneath, no big deal, and more or less the hitch just bolts right up into place. So shouldn't give you too many issues or take up a bunch of your time. That said though, why don't we go ahead, we'll pull into the garage and get going on it now. To begin our installation, we're going to be underneath the back of our Tucson, and first thing we need to do is remove this underbody panel here in the middle. We're going to have 4 push pin style fasteners that run along the edge of this, and to get these out, just take a flathead screwdriver, pry underneath the head, then pop that whole base out. I'm just going to work my way across until we get them all removed. Then along this edge, you're going to have some plastic nuts that are actually going to stay attached to this panel, but get removed from the little studs that is holding it on. So you can take a 14mm socket and an extension, and I usually just do these by hand. They're not very tight. Let's start to loosen all 3 of them up. There'll probably come a point where it just feels like it's spinning and nothing's happening. So once you get to that point, then you can come back and apply a little downward pressure to the panel while you're spinning it, so once you get that last one off, that panel will drop down and we can set it to the side. We can remove this small panel over on the passenger side, more or less the same way that we just did. You'll have 2 push pins along this edge. And then 2 more of these ones that you can rotate up here at the top. We'll go ahead and get this removed. Go over our attachment points that we're going to use to secure the hitch, and they're going to be the same on both sides of our vehicle. And from this point on, whatever we do to one side of our Hyundai, we're also going to do to the other side, because it'll all be the same. But with that said, we'll have 3 attachment points on our frame rail. 2 on the side, 1 on the bottom, and these are just threaded weld nuts that are in there already from the factory. What I suggest doing is spraying some penetrating oil or something in there and cleaning those threads out. You can use a tube brush like this just to get any dirt or junk that may have been built up inside out. The hardware combination that we're going to use to secure the hitch is going to be the same for all of our attachment points. You're just going to have a bolt and a conical tooth washer. Make sure the teeth on the washer, you're going to put it on like that. That way the teeth will face towards the hitch. But we'll take our hitch, hold it in position, line up the holes in it with the holes in the frame, and then our bolts are just going to thread right into place. If you have someone that can give you a hand with this part, it makes it much more manageable. And we'll get our hitch raised into position. On the passenger side, it is a little tight with the exhaust there. So you might kind of have to pull down on it a little bit. No big deal. Oh, we'll get this all lined up. And our hardware started hand tight. You can come back now with a 17mm socket and snug everything down. Don't forget to come back with a torque wrench and tighten down all the hardware to the amount specified in the instructions. Now that it's torqued, for the panel over here on the passenger side, we can reinstall this the opposite way that we removed it. As far as that center panel goes, you won't be reinstalling that because it'll interfere with the hitch. And with that done, that'll finish up our look at and our installation of the Curt Trailer Hitch Receiver on our 2024 Hyundai Tucson.